Lesson learned, don't trust the transmission you buy in the back alley of Los Angeles for $300 and a case of Modelo.
Stop it. We're not saying that on camera.
The Corolla isn't quite done yet. It's the saying, the last 10% takes 90% of the time. We're in that last 10%. Our agenda for today is get the battery wiring situated. There's a leak on the T50 transmission, and I think it's in the front main seal of the T50. We have transmission fluid leaking. And then if I can get all that done, I can definitely get the Corolla ready to at least run and start. So without further ado, let's just dive into it. First things first, let's get the car up on the quick jacks, get it up in the air. So let's time lapse that. All right, here's where we're at with the wiring so far. We got a Braille battery, we got cheap eBay TRD Sports battery clamp, titanium. And you know, I thought it would look cool, but it's not cool, let's be honest. And I have kind of a mess of wiring here. Here's my fuse box. I got like 6 leads going to it. I just don't like the way it looks. This is gonna bother me for a long time. I'm gonna take all these leads. You see there's like boom, 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 boom. There's like 6 leads. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 if you count the starter. Leads coming from the positive of the battery, and I'm going to take all these off and put them into a fuse box. I'll probably end up putting the fuse box here just so everything is kind of tidy in one area, and then all those wires can lead to this. This will just terminal over to that, and then we'll have one going to the starter. So I have all the stuff to do that today, so let's just get this going. All right, we are in a new night because we had to stop last night.
Yeah.
And Emily's got a new tool from Amazonias.
This is legit, man.
All right, go. Squeeze.
Okay.
I'll hold it for you. Go. Yeah. Keep going. I see you working it.
Yeah. Okay, watch
Keep
your
going.
finger.
You're good.
Oh my god.
There you go.
Very weak.
Can you do it?
I can't do it.
Okay, you hold the wire. I'll
God
squeeze.
damn it. Okay, you're okay.
Done.
Oh, great.
High five on camera. Oh, don't hit the hood thing. It'll fall on my head. Fancy, huh?
Fancy.
That's some good ass wiring, let me tell you. Boom.
How tight is this supposed
That's
to be?
good. That's
Okay.
good. Now that the wiring for the Corolla is pretty much done in the front, I don't think I'm going to change it much more than this. Just kind of wrap some things up. We can move on to the other parts of the car. We actually have our hands full. It looks like the back alley T50 that we got in Los Angeles, turns out it wasn't so good of a deal. Go figure. The transmission cost us $300 and the case of Modelo. And we tried to drive it around the block, and it kept popping out of first gear. And then as soon as I put it up on the quick jack, we noticed a pretty nasty transmission leak. You can see here we have 2 different types of leaks going on. 1, we have transmission fluid, and 2, we have coolant. I have to troubleshoot this underneath the car right now to figure out what's going on. 1, where is this transmission fluid leak coming from? And so the best way to do that, honestly, is to regrettably pull the trans and put in a new seal kit, because I don't know if this has that. And then the second thing is, once the tran is out, I could figure out where the stupid coolant leak's coming from. I can't really see anything up in here, but I can see definitely here where the leak is coming from on the bell housing, and it's mixed with transmission fluid. So it's leaving quite a bit of a stain everywhere it goes, and that's not cool. It's time to get underneath the car and troubleshoot some of these leaks. All right, so first things first, we'll hop in the top of the car, pull the shifter out, and then move down to the bottom of the car and get ready to pull the trans. All right, let's drain the transmission fluid into this brand new bucket thing. I hope it goes smoothly. Alright, here we go. Don't make too much of a mess. Ooh, oh, nice. Very bad. Very, very bad. Very bad. Look at this. Looks like we have ourselves a broken T50, folks. So change of plans, folks. Oh, I want to just put my hand in the oil. That's great. I'm going to go ahead and pull the T50 and send it to a transmission repair shop because that is a big bummer. Ah, fudge. What a bummer. What a bummer. What a bummer.
This is a bummer, man. That's a bummer.
All right. Now that we know the transmission is foobar, well, not foobar, basically foob. We're gonna figure out the R some other time. It's time for me to continue on removing the transmission. So I'm gonna pull the master cylinder, then I'm gonna remove the bell housing bolts, then I'll remove the transmission mount. So let's see what we can get going. Alright, I got the bell housing bolts removed from the block and the bell housing. The only thing that's left is this speedometer cable here, which is pretty easy to remove. And then it looks like I have 3 bolts holding the transmission in on the tranny mount. I put my jack with a piece of wood there because as I remove this, I don't want this falling on my face. I also think a really good idea right now would probably be to pull the tail shaft. So let me pull that out here. At least I can pull the carrier bearing, and then the tail shaft will just kind of fall like blip. It'll pop out of here. We might get some fluid depending on how bad that seal is, and then we can continue on removing the transmission. Alright, now that Emily's out of the room, she brought Kodak with her. She's gonna lower the jack while I wiggle the transmission out with my hands, and hopefully it doesn't fall off that piece of wood. Keep going, keep going, keep going.
Oh!
Got it.
Okay. Wow.
All right. Well, with the transmission out, we now know why it was leaking. It looks like we have a major leak out the front of the transmission. There's an input shaft, or there's a shaft, input shaft bearing and seal behind this little plate here. And obviously that was just gushing fluid because when the transmission would spin, all the fluid would get caught up. And there's fluid all over my flywheel and pressure plate, so this is the big culprit of everything. All these are new parts, and you can tell this is new, all this is new, but in there is dog shit, and that's because I bought this and I just put new stuff onto something that was a piece of shit. So I have to take all this to a transmission shop and get it rebuilt. So we found that. And then secondly, we found the leak in the back of the engine, and there's water all around it. So I think that's the main culprit for the leak here. I can get under the car and trace it, but I'm 99% sure that's the main culprit. And I can totally fix this by just taking the sensor off and then definitely JB welding it shut. I don't think I'll ever use this rear water sensor, so maybe I can even perma plug it. There's a lot of fluid on the back of that. So it looks like we found the leak. Thank goodness. Got a lot done in this episode. One, we cleaned up all the wires in the engine bay. Looks great. And the new battery and battery plate are like phenomenal. Two, we found the main leak of the transmission. Oof, boy. This whole thing's going to need to be rebuilt. And we found a lot of shavings in our transmission drain plug, which is a big bummer. And then three, we found the leak of the coolant on the engine. It was actually in the back. It was the rear water line outlet. So we're all good. Now it's time for me to take this transmission to a transmission shop and get it rebuilt. And instead of me pulling everything out into the garage and trying rebuilding it on my floor here, I still have my chaser out front. It's getting dark. I need to pull the chaser back in the garage and call it. Also got to take the dogs on a walk and do husband duties. So we're going to wrap this episode here. Thank you so much for watching. Looks like we got a lot done on this episode, and I'm excited to see this thing actually all buttoned up and running correctly. But I'm also kind of nervous because it's going to be pretty fucking expensive, I'm sure. And on top of all the other stuff we have planned for the Corolla. So fingers crossed it gets easier from here on out. Hopefully we're out of the hardest part of the build, but we'll see. You never know when you build a car. And lesson learned, don't trust the transmission you buy in the back alley of Los Angeles for $300 and a case of Modelo. Other than that, I'll see you guys on the next one. Sorry for the delay in Corolla content. It's been a long time, but hey, we fed you nerds. Make sure you subscribe and turn on that notification so that way you're ready for the next video when it drops. We'll see you guys later. What are you doing right now?
Well, wait. We're gonna make it look nice.
Make it look nice.
Should it cover it like that?
Yeah, just like that.
Oh.
Ooh, that's okay.
Okay. That's good. Yeah, right?
Yeah, excellent.
Don't film me. I'm snotty.
Tight.